Good evening. Just be a good person. Love who you can, help where you can, give what you can. Welcome to BMC News Live, presented by Al Hilal Hospitals and Medical Centers English News. Myself, Shina Sultana, joining you with the daily news updates. Today's headlines.
Minimum gap for booster shots cut. Kingdom ready with plans to tackle Omicron virus. Her Highness Sheikha Tajba bin Salman congratulates Her Royal Highness Princess Sabika bint Ibrahim Al Khalifa. Saudi launches probe after recording first Omicron variant case. No mandatory quarantine for fully vaccinated Umrah pilgrims, Saudi Arabia announced.
Today's news in detail. Bahrain has reduced the minimum gap for COVID-19 booster shots from 6 to 3 months following the emergence of a new and more infectious variant. However, people aged above 40 who have taken the Sinopharm vaccine and with comorbidities, which is obesity, immunodeficiencies or chronic diseases, can take the booster just a month after the second shot. Contingency plans are in place to tackle the newest variant of the COVID-19, the country's health chief said, allaying fears over the spread of Omicron, which the World Health Organization on Monday said carried a very high risk of infectious surges. Bahrain's COVID-19 task force members said the team was monitoring the situation closely and was prepared. A ceremony was held yesterday, December 1st, marking the annual Bahraini Women's Day. His Majesty King Hamad bin Isa Al Khalifa deputized Her Royal Highness Prince Sabika bint Ibrahim Al Khalifa, wife of His Majesty the King and Supreme Council for Women SCW President, to attend the celebration. Themed Bahraini Women in the National Development, a journey of progress in a dedicated nation. The ceremony also coincided with the 20th anniversary of the Council's inception. Addressing the event, Her Royal Highness Princess Sabika extended thanks and gratitude to His Majesty the King for patronizing the celebration, hailing royal care for Bahraini women. She paid tribute to His Royal Highness Prince Salman bin Hamad Al Khalifa, the Crown Prince and Prime Minister, hailing his dedicated efforts to serve the nation and His Majesty the King. She said that this year's edition is celebrated as Bahrain enters the phase of recovery from the pandemic, praying to Allah the Almighty to lift the disease off all the world. Bahrain Tender Board celebrated the Bahraini Women's Day, which coincides with the 20th century of the establishment of the Supreme Council for Women (SCW). The Tender Board's team include a group of the best Bahraini women who work with the spirit of Team Bahrain to contribute in the national development process. Women represent 40.5% of the board's member and 45.5% of the total number of employees, including supervisory positions. Tender Board Chairman Sheikh Naif bin Khalifa Al Khalifa said. He stressed the board's keenness to provide all possibilities that allow women to excel and prove their competence on an equal footing with men. The chairman extended his congratulations to Her Royal Highness Princess Sabika bint Ibrahim Al Khalifa, wife of His Majesty the King and SCW President, on Bahraini Women's Day and on the Council's 20th anniversary. The National Communication Center (NCC) organized a celebration to mark the Bahraini Women's Day, which this year comes under the theme Bahraini Women in the National Development, a journey of progress in a dedicated nation. This year's celebration also coincided with the 20th anniversary of the establishment of the Supreme Council for Women. NCC Chief Yusuf Mohammed Al Bin Khalil, CEO of the NCC, extended his deepest congratulations and best wishes to His Majesty King Hamad bin Isa Al Khalifa, His Royal Highness Prince Salman bin Hamad Al Khalifa, the Crown Prince and Prime Minister, and Her Royal Highness Princess Shabika bint Ibrahim Al Khalifa, wife of His Majesty the King, President of the Supreme Council for Women. Her Highness Shaikha Tajba bin Salman bin Hamad Al Khalifa paid tribute to His Majesty King Hamad bin Isa Al Khalifa, hailing royal support to women's standing and pivotal participation in the march of progress and prosperity. She commended the government chaired by His Royal Highness Prince Salman bin Hamad Al Khalifa, the Crown Prince and Prime Minister, for adopting programs and projects aimed to empower women and enhance their role as key partners in national development. She extended congratulations to Her Royal Highness Princess Shabika bint Ibrahim Al Khalifa, wife of His Majesty the King and Supreme Council for Women's President, on the occasion of the Bahraini Women's Day. Al Hilal Hospitals and Medical Center presents COVID update.
COVID updates brought to you by Al Hilal Hospital and Medical Centers.
The Kingdom of Bahrain stressed the importance of establishing a Middle East zone free of nuclear weapons and other weapons of mass destruction in implementation of the 1995 Review and Extension Conference of the Parties to the Treaty on the Non-Proliferation of Nuclear Weapons, which should help in maintaining regional and international peace and security. This came during the statement delivered by the permanent representative of the Kingdom of Bahrain to the United Nations, Ambassador Jamal Fares Al Ruwaifi, at the second session of the conference on the establishment of a Middle East zone free of nuclear weapons and other weapons of mass destruction, which commenced on Monday. A campaign to ensure delivery motorcycle riders follow traffic laws continues by the General Traffic Directorate. Violations include not wearing helmets, using expired license, speeding, and refusing to stop when alerted by the traffic police. Bahrain could soon ban the display of lingerie and underwear in shop fronts. The Southern Municipal Council yesterday anonymously approved an urgent proposal in this regard presented by its only female member and technical committee chairman Iman Al Ghalaf. Now we shall go for short commercial break. Welcome back. Citizens and residents have been urged not to drop their guard after the country witnessed a rise in COVID-19 cases over the last 2 days. A total of 62 infections were registered on Tuesday, up from 43 on Monday and 33 on Sunday, it has been announced. The 32nd edition of Bahrain's largest retail fair will open its doors on December 13th and run until December 21st. The 9-day autumn fair will take place at the Bahrain International Exhibition and Convention Center, Sanabes. It has been announced. Saudi Arabia has launched a health probe after reporting the country's first positive case of the Omicron COVID-19 variant. The kingdom joined more than 21 other nations in recording an Omicron infection after a Saudi national who flew in on a passenger plane from a North African country tested positive. The individual was placed in isolation along with a number of other people they had been in contact with, according to the Saudi press agency. Institutional quarantine is no more required for foreign Umrah pilgrims who took 2 doses of COVID-19 vaccines approved in Saudi Arabia. The period of stay in the kingdom for pilgrims coming from abroad has been increased to 30 days. However, a 3-day institutional quarantine is required for foreign pilgrims who are immunized with 2 doses of vaccines approved by the WHO World Health Organization. Such pilgrims have to carry out PCR laboratory tests after 48 hours of institutional quarantine and will be allowed to perform Umrah directly if they submit a negative PCR test result. Riyadh plans to host the Soundstorm Festival between December 16 and 19, which is the biggest event in the Middle East, with the participation of senior international singers and musicians in the Soundstorm Theatre. Soundstorm Festival is among the top events listed by the calendar of events and seasons launched by the Visit Saudi platform to display all tourist and entertainment activities and seasons scheduled to be held during the Saudi winter between October 2021 and March 2022. UAE authorities confirmed the detection of the first Omicron variant case in the country on Wednesday. The individual had arrived from an African nation and was passing through the UAE. The patient was vaccinated against COVID-19 according to the approved national protocol. The UAE had suspended inbound flights from 7 countries due to concern over the spread of new COVID-19 variant. The travel ban took effect from Monday, November 29th, it has been announced. With this, we come to the end of today's news. Stay tuned for daily news updates in BMC News Live at English at 7:30 p.m. Thank you so much for watching. Signing off by Shina Sultana. Good night.